In this video, we're going to be looking at a clip from Sherlock, and we're going to be learning some useful words and phrases in context. I want to push you to try to use the words and phrases we talk about in your daily life. So put them in the comments, and I would love to take a look. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And now, let's get into the clip. So let's take a look at some useful words and phrases from this clip from Sherlock. This is from the, is it Hound or Hounds of Baskervilles? The Hound of Baskerville. Baskerville or Baskervilles? Baskerville or Baskervilles? It's from the original story. I think it's Baskervilles. Anyway, I should know that, but let's look at words and phrases in context from this clip and focus on how we can use them. That's the most important, right? So listen carefully. Try to hone your listening skill as we go through this. Really catch what is being said, and then see if you can figure out, okay, if I were going to use it, how would I use it? Would I use it in a similar way, in a different way? Okay, well, let's get started.
Perfectly all right.
But maybe it's not a drug.
No, it has to be a drug. How did it get into our systems? How?
I'm not going to focus on this, but when you hear in our systems, that might sound weird at first. This is one way of talking about the body. You might say, I don't know if I'm getting enough nutrition in my system. System is kind of this broad term. You can talk about specific systems. You can say digestive systems. You can say cardiovascular system. You can say, did I say digestive system or systems? If it's one, it would be system. Digestive system, cardiovascular system. Sometimes when you're referring to then yourself, the whole thing, nervous system, cardiovascular system, digestive system, we will use systems. So my systems. And you'll also hear people say my system. Our systems, I'm not sure if he's referring to each person having systems or that it's multiple people who each have a system, and because it's multiple people, he's saying systems. Anyway, that's just a side point. Oops.
It has to be a drug. How did it get into our systems? How? There must be something buried deep.
Something buried deep. Buried deep where? In the ground? In your mind, in your memory, often. Buried deep would be maybe emotional trauma or something like that. It would be buried, that one, ooh, that memory was buried deep. And I haven't really thought of it in years. Then I heard that song and suddenly I remembered everything. That traumatic song.
Get out.
Okay, I want to talk about this. I know that you know what get out means, but what is the level of rudeness of the word get out? That's the interesting thing here, right? If you say to someone, get out, in this case, it does seem quite rude, right? He's pointing at this lady like he's almost swiping her out of the room, right? like she's an app icon. He's trying to get her out of the room. In this case, it does come across as very rude. If you look at someone directly and you want them to leave, you could say politely, I'd like to be alone, or something like that. I'd like to be alone right now. Okay, I'll give you some space. Or you could say, I'd like to have some space. But if you look at someone right in the eyes and you say, get out, that is going to be rude. Now, the reason I mention this is that it all depends on context, and it all depends on the way that you say it. So something means something, not just based on what it means in the dictionary, but also how it is used, right? So there could be a jokey way to say, get out, right? In which case someone may leave, without being offended, because they know you're the type of person who just says that sort of thing, and that's fine. But also, there is another meaning of get out, which we have talked about before, popularized in Seinfeld, when we have a sense of disbelief about something. If somebody says something shocking, we would say, get out. Short for get out of here. Get out of here. Meaning, I can't believe it. I won't accept it. It's too much to believe, right? So in this case, he's literally telling this person to leave the room. And in this case, it is rude. But that's kind of his thing, right? That's his MO.
What?
Get out. I need to go to my mind palace.
Your what? He's not going to be doing much talking for a while. We may as well go.
Okay, we may as well. Did you hear that? We may as well go.
He's not going to be doing much talking for a while. We may as well go.
He's not going to be doing much talking for a while. We may as well go. We may as well. So what does it mean to say we may as well? This means doing the opposite is kind of pointless, right? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, he's trying to solve a problem, trying to figure out how some drugs got into their systems that caused them to hallucinate. And if he's going to be sifting through his mind palace, he's not going to be saying anything. And so what's the point of them just sitting there looking at him doing this, right? Yeah, good question. It would be kind of pointless. So if something is kind of pointless, then we may as well, something else, in this case, we may as well leave, right? So this is to say, whatever the opposite is, basically has no function, right? If it's, let's say we've been working on something very intensely, and we've worked on it basically all night, an all-nighter, working on something or studying for something or whatever, and it's 5 a.m., right? Well, you realize, oh, geez, 5 a.m. Okay, now, in this case, would there be a point in going to bed if maybe, let's say it's college students who've been, studying all night for a big exam? Is there any reason that they should go to sleep, for like 45 minutes and then get ready for class? No, it's kind of pointless to do that because they wouldn't get enough rest anyway. So, okay, basically now they're committing to staying up. And so what? We may as well stay up, you could say, or we may as well get breakfast. So we may as well get breakfast, basically saying, well, we've kind of committed to this, and the opposite has no point. What would be the point of going to bed at this point? Because it's, it's morning already, and we have class pretty soon. We have our exam pretty soon. We may as well get breakfast. Okay, let's keep going here.
His what?
Oh, he's... We'll go.
His what?
Oh, he's... Mind palace. It's a...
His what?
Oh, he's... Mind palace.
Okay. She says, his what? His what? Now, this is different than you what? She what? So if you say she what? He what? And it's just the simple pronoun, right? Then we're talking about actions, right? He what means he did what? I want to know more about this. I'm shocked, right? You what? You did something that I can't believe, and I'm questioning you about what you did. But if it is a possessive pronoun, your what? Your what? His what? Now, my what? Maybe. I don't know if that would work. Yeah, I guess it could work in some situations. So, in this case, his what is talking about a thing that he has that is equally unbelievable, right? It's hard to believe. It's strange, or perhaps I just don't know what that is, and I'm kind of confused. So if I want to express, again, surprise or confusion, or I just want to get clarification on something, and somebody said that, but I don't really know what it means, I might say, your what? His what? Or perhaps the what? The what? You say something. I don't know what that is. The what? And then I want you to say it again, and then also hopefully tell me more about it. Explain it to me. So this is his mind palace. This is where he stores all of the information. He can go in there and look around and find what he needs. Oh, he's going to his mind palace. His what? Now, maybe she knows what a mind palace is and she can't believe that he has one because that's such a strange thing to have. Oh, I have one too. Or maybe she has never heard of that and she wants to hear it again for clarification, and she might need an explanation, right? And she's about to get that, right?
It's a memory technique, a sort of mental map.
It's a memory technique. It's a mental map, which is accurate.
It's a map with a location. It doesn't have to be a real place, and then you deposit memories there.
It's actually a pretty good explanation of what a mind palace, or also called a more commonly memory palace, is. Basically, you have a physical place. You deposit things there, and they act as, for example, mnemonics to remind you of what a word or some important bit of information or a date or something, or it could be an object, a visual object that you create with your imagination. When you walk through that mental space in your memory palace, you see it. It's actually a very powerful technique. It's been around for thousands of years.
To be a real place, and then you deposit memories there.
You deposit, in this case, memories. It doesn't have to be memories. Could be all kinds of things. Vocabulary words, for example. Deposit. Okay, you might think a deposit like at a bank. Yeah, one meaning of deposit, or the main meaning of deposit, is to put something in something else. Right? To deposit money in the bank is to take your money and put it in the bank. So you can deposit other things too. You might have a mineral deposit somewhere, or you know, next to your sink, right? There's a small mineral deposit there. Some minerals have built up. Okay, so that's minerals that are there. Not that you put them there, but they have built up gradually. To deposit as a verb is to, again, put something there. So in this case, the memory or the word in your memory or mind palace is deposited into your memory or mind palace. Okay, put there, put in place, usually with intention. That is often how it is used. And we have, I forgot to put that up. Deposit. Deposit can also, by the way, be a noun. The noun deposit is then once you deposit the money in the bank, that thing that you did is now a deposit. Okay, so I made a deposit. I need to go to the bank to make a deposit, or to deposit money. It can be used as a noun or as a verb. And as I mentioned, the mineral deposit, that deposit there, that is a noun. Okay?
Theoretically, you can never forget anything. All you have to do is find your way back to it.
So this imaginary location could be anything, a house or a street?
Yeah.
This is a palace, he said.
House or a street.
Be anything, a house or a street?
Yeah.
This is a palace, he said it was a palace.
Yeah, well, he would, wouldn't he?
Okay, let's talk about this last piece here. This is the last one we're going to talk about. Yeah, well, he would, wouldn't he? Oh, this should be he would, wouldn't he? Apologies. He would, wouldn't he? Let me update that. So, what does this mean? He would, wouldn't he? Is it a real question? Is it a rhetorical question? And what the heck does it mean? How is it used in this case? So it's actually kind of subtle. So let's talk about this a little bit. So actually, it's just called a memory palace or a mind palace. So that's the real reason, right? But in this case, there's a comment being made about how pretentious Sherlock is, right? How his personality type is kind of arrogant, right? He doesn't have a lot of humility in the way that he communicates, right? He's definitely not down to earth. And so ordinary things would be houses or streets, and you could easily place your memories there. In this case, John Watson is explaining to this lady, I can't remember her name, that it's a palace, and she wonders, why does it have to be a palace? This opulent structure, this building, that's got all types of filigree and ornate designs and gold. It's opulent, right? Like Buckingham Palace. Why would he say, well, he would, wouldn't he? It's to sort of acknowledge the personality type. This is the kind of person. So this is like saying, well, that's typical for him, basically, right? If you want to make a somewhat sarcastic remark about someone, to say that's the way it is. It could be about any type of personality characteristic. It could be about someone's arrogance. In this case, it could be about someone's sort of humility. It could be about someone's desire to help everyone in all possible cases, right? Oh yeah, he drove 300 miles just to pick up KFC for his friend who said he couldn't leave the house. Yeah, well, he would, wouldn't he? That's like saying, oh, that's just the way he is. This person who will go to extreme lengths to make sure that his close friend is, getting exactly what he needs because he's just that thoughtful. Are you making fun of them? Nah, possibly. It's possible that you're making fun of them. But I see it more as a confirmation of, that's just the type of person that he or she is. Or they are, if you're talking about a group. That's just how they are. Well, they would, wouldn't they? Right? So there's a bit of sarcasm in there. It's sort of layered into it, but it's kind of a nuanced comment, and that's what I think is particularly interesting about that one. So we've talked about get out. We've talked about we may as well. We said his what, your what, their what. We talked about deposit, and he would, wouldn't he? They would, wouldn't they? So if you have any questions about these, let me know. Try to use them in your daily life. Using words and phrases that you learn, especially learning them in context, is the best way to remember them, perhaps apart from putting them in your own memory palace, which is something worth considering, absolutely. So, if you have any questions about these, let me know. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And also, get a free course, Natural English Conversations, in the links in the description.